Hello, it's Mark Atwood here from markatwood.com. I wanted to share with you something today because I've just got off Skype to a client, and the title of this blog is Are You Paying to Be Busy? Now, I'm not going to tell you the name of the client or the business, but what I can tell you is that they turned over last year £240,000. Okay, they're a localised service-based business, but they spent £80,000 on leaflets to get that turnover. Now, I don't know what 80,000 is exactly as a percentage, but something like 35% of their turnover on marketing. That was just on the leaflets. They're also doing other things like newsletters, but 35% is a huge percentage of your turnover to be getting that kind of business. And we're taking that client from a transition from leaflets to AdWords, because AdWords is really where you need to put the money. If you think about it, when you're putting out a leaflet, you're hoping that somebody is going to require your service at the same time that the leaflet arrives through their doorstep. Now, the chances of that are pretty slim. You're also hoping that if they see the leaflet and they don't need your services right now, that they're going to stick it on the fridge, or they're going to put it somewhere and think, I'll remember that for later. But what actually happens is that if somebody is wanting your products or services, usually, in the majority of cases, they're going to be on their mobile phone and they're going to type in dum, find, that's exactly what I'm looking for, go, ring, do. That's what you need to be doing. That's what you need to be. And if you're not at the top of Google, naturally, then you need to make sure you're at the top of Google with pay-per-click until you are there naturally for all of the keywords that you know from your AdWords experience convert into business. They're the gold keywords. That's the key part of my strategy, is that you need to find out which keywords actually generate you leads and sales, and then create the content and the SEO work to get to the top so that your acquisition cost goes down over time. Now, another thing that I was talking to this client about was the fact that the phone numbers that they had on their leaflets are exactly the same phone numbers that they had on their website. What's the problem with that? Well, they didn't know which phone calls were coming from the website or which ones were coming from the leaflet. So without measuring anything, they had no idea where their marketing spend was going, which, by the way, should be 15% or less of your full turnover. Now, one of my most successful clients, one of the ones that's making the most profit and growth at the moment, their spend, including their work with us, AdWords, SEO, everything that we're doing with us, video marketing, their spend is 7% of their turnover. And we've taken them from £6,000 per month, £36,000 per year, to over £300,000 per year, with a marketing cost of approximately £28,000. So it's about 7 or 8%. So this is something for you to be thinking about. You need to be measuring whatever it is that you're doing. You know, if you've got different things out there, you know, if you are sending money to Google AdWords, make sure that you've got Google conversion tracking code on the thank you page that people see after they fill out your form. Make sure that your form is incentivized. You know, fill out this form and get this free guide with every inquiry. This will improve your conversion rates. Reduce the number of fields in your forms. You know, just have name, email, phone number, and the minimum amount of information. You don't need to know their address at this stage. You don't need to know everything about what they're interested in. You just need to get their data off them, and you need to make it super, super easy for them, which again comes back to this thing that I've been talking about on my blog recently. Please, please, please make sure that your website is mobile optimized. Just go to Google and type in Google Mobile Website Checker, and you'll find the Google link. Just go there, put it in. If it's not, get your site fixed as soon as possible, because believe me, mobile is where it's all at. Not only is where it's all at from a conversion point of view, from making it easy for your customers, Google are listing websites higher that are mobile friendly. It's just as simple as that, and that's since April the 21st. So if you saw my blog post earlier this week, you'll know that, and hopefully you'll be taking some action on it. If you need help with any of that, just give us a call at atwooddigital.com. In fact, you can't give us a call, you can just send us an email. Send it to my email address, which you can get on Atwood Digital on the Contact Us page. Ooh, email. What else were we talking about this, Katie? Other aspects to this that are a problem with spending that amount of money on leaflets. Do you remember? Well,
it's most people throw leaflets away as soon as they come through the door, don't they?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And it's environmentally got some issues there.
Well, it's not good for trees, is it? No. Let's face it. Do we like the trees? Yes, we do. So let's not do leaflets. But actually, it just reminded me, another thing that the client was doing is sending out a newsletter. Now, newsletters are great. He measures the return on investment that he's getting from that. He's spending about £1,200 a month on a newsletter, which goes out in the post. Now, he's tested it against emails, and paper newsletters do get a better response than email newsletters. But he's sending them out in a business envelope with a frank and a typed thing there. Now, I started doing this years ago, 15 years ago. I realised that my opening rates were not particularly high. So if you are doing anything in the post for business or potential business, don't send a business envelope, because believe me, when I was running Pal Hire, Top Skips, I'd get a pile of letters every day, and I'd literally open them over the bin. If it looked like it was a promotional letter, it'd just go straight in the bin. Or if it was a bill, then I'd have to open those. But you know, nobody's got time. So what you need to do is think about sending something out in an envelope that doesn't look like it's from a business. So pink, green, yellow, whatever, weird shape, birthday card shape, something like that. Handwritten, stamp at a slight angle, so it looks like it's not been done by a machine. When I said this to him, he was like, "Oh my God, it's going to cost me a fortune." Well, you know, it's about testing and getting the return on investment. And it's very, very easy to go and find school kids or college students who will work for a small amount of money to sit there and write out envelopes. I've done that many, many times before. It's not expensive, and I promise you the opening rate will be far higher. And the other thing to think about is, if they do open the envelope like this, the first thing they see should not be the bottom of the letter. It should be the headline, or whatever the head, you know, something appealing, something that's going to make them want to read the rest of it. So headlines are really, really, really important, and I'm going to be putting a link on this blog post to some headline writing software that I've just started using, which I think is really, really good, especially if you don't think of yourself much as a copywriter, or you can't afford to get a copywriter, because copy is the key to conversion in direct mail, but also in your website. So your headlines and everything else you do in your blog posts and your web pages and everything else, really start thinking about your headlines. And just to explain further about what I'm doing with this particular client, they're a bit nervous. You know, they're a bit nervous because they got a certain amount of turnover. I mean, the title of this blog post is, "Are you paying to be busy?" The £80,000 that they spent on leaflets brought them in about £90,000 worth of business. So they were busy, but they weren't making any money. You know, not making any profits. So, you know, I'm working with them to sort of reverse engineer where they need to get to. And, you know, they want to sell their business within a certain period of time for a certain amount of money. We worked out how much money they needed to retire. Turns out to be worth about £900,000. In order to get £900,000, you're going to have a business that's making at least £300,000 profit if you own the business 100%, because it's about 3.5 times turnover. Profit is the usual sort of valuation on a business. So we're going to take them from 240,000 to £1 million per year, but also keeping an eye on that profit margin. The best way of doing that is through AdWords, because AdWords is your laboratory. Now, AdWords won't always be profitable. In some markets, it's not profitable. The client I told you about earlier, who we've taken from 36,000 to over 300,000 a year, the AdWords that we did with them was not profitable, because their product was a very high-end product for the keyword, which was quite a broad keyword. But the money we spent in AdWords gave us lots of new converting keywords, which then informed the SEO and the content creation strategy. Because once we find those gold converting keywords, we then, in an ideal world, you then go out and create optimized images. You syndicate those images across Flickr, Picasa, Pinterest, Instagram, so that you're taking up lots of lots of land grab with these images, especially if you've got a visual product. You know, I've talked about EXIF utility on this blog before. And the incredible results that some of our clients have been getting with that. Optimizing images is a really, really quick win for most of you. Then we use those images in the right web pages into blog posts. We create blog posts that are optimized for the titles. We then make videos for the keywords that we know already bring us business. We then put those into YouTube, Dailymotion, Vimeo, and syndicate in as many places as possible, because then you are creating multiple ways for clients or potential business customers of yours to find you based upon keywords you already know make you money. So that's the lesson for today. Hope you have a great weekend. See you soon.